Have you ever felt pressured to do something that goes against what you truly believe? That feeling in your gut telling you something's not right, even when everyone around you is going along with it? It takes a special kind of courage to stand firm in those moments. Today, we're diving into an ancient story from the book of Daniel, a powerful account of three young men who faced the ultimate test of faith. Their names were Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and their story of courage in the face of fire is as relevant today as it was thousands of years ago. Let's set the scene. We're in ancient Babylon, a sprawling, powerful empire ruled by the formidable King Nebuchadnezzar. He was a king who was used to getting his way. After conquering Jerusalem, he had brought some of the brightest and best young men from Judah to serve in his court. Among them were our three heroes, along with their friend Daniel. They were known for their wisdom and integrity, and they quickly rose through the ranks. But trouble was brewing. King Nebuchadnezzar, in a display of his immense power and ego, decided to build a colossal statue of gold. It stood 90 feet high, gleaming under the Babylonian sun. It was a monument to himself, a symbol of his absolute authority. And he wasn't just building it for decoration. He issued a decree that sent a chill down the spine of anyone who heard it. The order was simple. When you hear the sound of the horn, flute, zither, lyre, harp pipe, and all kinds of music, you must fall down and worship the golden statue. The penalty for disobedience was terrifyingly specific. Anyone who refused to bow would be immediately thrown into a blazing, fiery furnace. Imagine the scene, a massive public ceremony. Officials from all over the empire gathered, the air filled with the tension of forced obedience. The music begins to play, a grand, sweeping symphony designed to command submission. And as the sound swells, thousands of people, governors, administrators, judges, and citizens all fall to their knees, their faces to the ground in worship of a lifeless golden idol. But amidst the sea of bowing heads, three figures remained standing. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They stood tall, their decision made not in the heat of the moment, but long before, in the quiet of their hearts. They worshipped the one true God, and they would not, could not, bow to an idol, no matter the consequence. Their defiance did not go unnoticed. Certain jealous officials, eager to curry favor with the king and remove these successful foreigners, rushed to tattle on them. They went before the king, their voices dripping with false respect. "Oh, king, live forever!" They began. "You issued a decree that everyone must worship the golden statue. But there are some Jews, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, whom you have appointed over the province of Babylon. They pay no attention to you, O king. They neither serve your gods nor worship the golden image you have set up." King Nebuchadnezzar was furious. His face twisted with rage. How dare they defy him? He immediately summoned the three men. He looked at them, a mix of anger and perhaps a sliver of disbelief. Was it true? He gave them one more chance. If you are ready to fall down and worship the image I made when you hear the music, very good. But if you do not worship it, you will be thrown immediately into a blazing furnace. Then what God will be able to rescue you from my hand? Think about that question. What God will be able to rescue you from my hand? There was a direct challenge, not just to the men, but to their God. This was the moment of truth. They could have caved. They could have rationalized it, saying, "We'll just bow on the outside, but in our hearts we'll still worship God." It would have been the easy way out, the safe option. But their response is one of the most powerful declarations of faith ever recorded. They looked the most powerful man in the world straight in the eye and said, "King Nebuchadnezzar, we do not need to defend ourselves before you in this matter. If we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the God we serve is able to deliver us from it, and he will deliver us from your majesty's hand." What incredible faith! They were certain of God's power. But then they added something even more profound. They said, "But even if he does not, we want you to know, your majesty, that we will not serve your gods or worship the image of gold you have set up." But even if he does not, those 5 words change everything. Their faith wasn't transactional. It wasn't based on God doing what they wanted. Their obedience wasn't conditional on their own survival. They were committed to honoring God, whether they were rescued or not. Their allegiance was to him, and that was final. This pushed Nebuchadnezzar over the edge. His rage was so intense that his face was distorted. He commanded his soldiers to heat the furnace 7 times hotter than usual. So hot, in fact, that the flames killed the powerful soldiers who were tasked with throwing the 3 men in. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fully clothed and bound, were cast into the heart of the inferno. From the king's vantage point, this should have been the end. 3 rebels instantly incinerated. Case closed. But what happened next left him utterly speechless. He leaped to his feet in amazement and asked his advisors, weren't there 3 men that we tied up and threw into the fire? They replied, certainly, your majesty. The king then exclaimed, look! I see 4 men walking around in the fire, unbound and unharmed, and the 4th looks like a son of the gods. In the very heart of the fire, where death was certain, there was life. In the place of judgment, there was deliverance. They weren't alone. A 4th figure was with them, protecting them. The fire that was meant to destroy them only served to set them free from their ropes. It couldn't touch their skin or even singe their hair. The only thing that burned away were the bonds that held them. Nebuchadnezzar, completely humbled, approached the opening of the furnace. His tone had changed dramatically. He cried out, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, servants of the Most High God, come out. Come here. So they walked out of the fire, right in front of all the officials who had gathered to watch their execution. Everyone crowded around to see the miracle. Not a hair on their heads was singed, their robes were not scorched, and there was no smell of fire on them. The king who just moments before had arrogantly challenged their God now broke out in praise. He declared, praise be to the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who has sent his angel and rescued his servants. They trusted in him and defied the king's command and were willing to give up their lives rather than serve or worship any god except their own God. What a turnaround! The king who demanded worship for himself was now directing praise to the God of these 3 faithful men. He even issued a new decree. Anyone who said anything against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego would be punished severely, for no other god can save in this way. And what about our 3 heroes? The king promoted them to even higher positions in the province of Babylon. This story isn't just a historical account of a miracle. It's a timeless lesson in courage, integrity, and unwavering faith. It teaches us that true faith isn't about avoiding the fire. Sometimes it's about trusting God in the midst of it. It's about standing for what's right, even when you're standing alone. It's about having that, but even a faith of faith that says, God is able. But even if my circumstances don't change, my commitment to him won't either. In our own lives, our fiery furnaces might not be literal flames. They might be peer pressure at school or work, the fear of being ridiculed for our beliefs, or the temptation to compromise our values for an easier path. This story encourages us to ask ourselves, what are our golden statues? What are the things the world tells us to bow down to? And will we have the courage to stand firm, trusting that God is with us, even in the fire? The story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego is a powerful reminder that when we stand for God, we never stand alone. Thanks so much for watching. If this story inspired you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. See you next time.